Everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about.
Hey there guys, what's up and welcome back to our channel. Amid Dave Chappelle's Netflix controversy, an old friend comes to his rescue and it's none other than Jay-Z. Let's have a look at Jay-Z defending Dave Chappelle over the Netflix special Backlash. But before we do that, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and do remember to hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Number 3, The Closer receives backlash. The Emmy and Grammy winner Dave Chappelle's special The Closer recently streamed on Netflix and peaked at the charts on the 3rd position. The show attracted millions to watch as the rating suggests, but it turns out it didn't win all the hearts that it intended to. The show had symbolic Chappelle elements to it, with its comedy quite visibly ticking some people off. But this time, it wasn't necessarily intended to do so. Dave Chappelle jokingly referred to himself as the transphobic comedian who sat very offensive with the LGBTQ community. It consisted of Dave telling a story about his trans friend who died from suicide, which took a completely different turn and landed him under fire. Major stars and celebrities responded to this issue, with many of them criticizing Dave's choice of jokes. YouTube star Gigi Georges took to her social media to write a big note on how it's not okay to still make trans jokes, that we can't simply brush ignorant comments as comedy, and no member of the community should be subjected to such absurd comments disguised in the name of humor. Jamila Jamil also tweeted about the controversy, saying how utterly let down the show special was and that Dave is such a smart man, so willfully misinformed and committed to showing us what an out-of-touch bellend he has become. Caitlyn Jenner also responded to Gigi Georges' post, commenting, "You go girl," showing her full support. Number 2, Chappelle responds. Now that we've heard all that, what does Chappelle have to say about all of this? Was he truly just telling a story about his friend, or were there underlying condescending comments about the said community? Chappelle also identifies himself as a TERF, which stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, and even came out to support J.K. Rowling on her TERF comments about trans women, says it's not him versus the trans community, rather with a corporate interest and what he can and cannot say. He further added that the press says that he's refused to speak to Netflix's trans employees, while the situation is quite the opposite. Netflix never reached out to him, and if they did, he would have loved to speak to them, and that he'd be willing to have an honest conversation with the members of their trans employee resource group who staged a walkout to protest The Closer. However, the other side of the story is a bit different. People of color are surprisingly siding with Chappelle and further extending his comments, saying that in a broader sense, Chappelle asserted that the LGBTQ community was finally accepted by white people because it had white people in it. Being a person of color and different sexuality, it's a minority within a minority that isn't as easy to live with. The others just know that there's no way to cancel Chappelle, as he's someone who barely gives a damn. He would just go on to do something else. He isn't even asking for anybody's validation. Number 1, what Jay-Z has to say. In comes Jay-Z, who unlike many other celebrities, defends Chappelle's comments, labeling them as the true form of art. During a tweet-spaced conversation, Jay-Z was asking to share his opinion on Dave Chappelle's new Netflix show and the encircling controversy it's attracted. The newest member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Chappelle said that comedy in its nature is controversial and it bears that spark that lights up conversations that need to happen. To quote the rapper, "He's super brave and super genius. You spend time with him and he's brilliant. And I think he pushed a lot of buttons. I think what happens with true art is it has to cause a conversation, and sometimes it's going to be abrasive, sometimes it's going to be off-putting to folks, but I think it opens up an opportunity to have a dialogue about whatever the issue is." He then went on to criticize social media, who are largely at fault here, limiting the people's right of speech. These algorithms and things on these sites allow you to talk to people that agree with you. I think we have to speak with one another when we disagree. That's how we get to the bottom of it. That's what therapy is. You gotta sit there and deal with yourself in a real way. These are the things I've done, and these are the things I gotta grow from, and anything that doesn't have that tension, it's not gonna be real. In the end, he just concluded his answer with a single comment. I don't want to answer to Dave Chappelle, so I'm not speaking specifically to his work, but I think great art is divisive, and when you're making great art, you have to be fearless and create something that you believe in. And with this, we've reached the end of our video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, then do smash that like button. Also, be sure to watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, as I'm sure you'll love them as much as you did this one. We'll see you guys again in another video soon. Until then, take care and goodbye.